Hey guys, welcome back to another Virgo Girl recommendation. I am just going to jump right into this because I'm super excited to tell you guys about this one. This is hands down, I'm going to say, I believe this one is my favorite limited series. I have been watching a few that they're kind of short. The limited series, they're only like from 6 to like 10 episodes. So it's really easy to binge watch through them. And I'm going to do a couple of more videos on two other ones that I watched. But I want to start with this one just because this one is fantastic. The name of it is Maid. And the star of the show, man, her name is Margaret Qualley, and she did such a great job in this movie. And I say that because I saw her in another movie. It was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that was that movie. Of course, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a great movie. It's with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. And that movie, she was in it. She played like a cutesy role, but on this one, she was the star. On that movie, she was just, she was a part of the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She had like a little part, but here she was the star and she really shined. I was really, really impressed with her acting skills. She did a phenomenal job on this. I mean, I felt like I was looking at and relating to someone who was exactly the character that she was portraying. I mean, she did not miss a beat. If I didn't know any better, I would think that this was her real life. She played it so well. It was almost like she was acting out her life and this was like some kind of documentary or something. It was such a touching show. I mean, talk about pulling on your heartstrings. Also, as I was saying, like, when it comes to shows, what makes this one my favorite is because anytime they make a show and it's so relatable to certain things, like in this particular show, it showed so clearly the difference between when you have money and when you don't have money and how you're treated when you're rich and how you're treated when you're poor. It was so just blunt and out there, but it was so true. And I can say in my lifetime, I have seen this. I have definitely have seen this. I've seen where certain people who may be like down on their luck or what have you, they are treated differently as opposed to people who, just have money. People who have money, it's just different. They can just ease through life a lot. They can just ease through life in ways that people who don't have money, in ways that people who don't have money, they can't do it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And it's just so evident, like with little things. Like there was this one part of the movie, this girl, she has a daughter, and the daughter was sick. I mean, she was really sick. Why was she sick? It had to do with like her living conditions, but her living conditions were in direct, or were directly because a cause of her income. Because her income was so low, she had to live where she was living, which was not a good living condition for her daughter. And the living conditions that she was living in was making her daughter sick. But at any rate, I can remember I was watching this one part of the show. Her daughter was sick, and I just said, why don't she just take the daughter to the doctor? Like, I said it like, right, I mean, I literally just said it out of my mouth. Like, it was just so easy, like, just take the baby to the doctor. She's sick. But then I didn't realize this girl, first of all, there was no way she had insurance. She didn't have like a job that would have, coverage for her. She also, I mean, transportation was a situation with her. She was in a situation where oh my gosh, it's just so funny how, like, not funny, but just so terrible how when you're poor, it's like a domino effect. Because she was in a situation where her daughter was sick, but she didn't really have the means to take her to the doctor at that point. And then she had to go to work. She couldn't call in sick because the type of job she had, she couldn't call in sick. And if she called in sick, she had the type of job where they would fire her. She didn't have the education to get a better job. I mean, it was just this whole, like, snowball effect. It just shows you how when you're poor, it just like when it rains, it pours, like one thing after another. And then they kind of show how like there's this, like other people in the show who do have money, and how it's just totally different when you have money. When you have money, if your kids are sick, you call up the doctor, boom, you take them in, they get better. When you have money, you're able to provide your children with a nice, clean home. You're able to have an insurance plan on your job if you have a good job. You're able to have sick pay, vacation time. It just showed all of these things that a lot of times are taken for granted that other people don't have. And my heart just went out to this girl because she wasn't just someone who was lazy or who was this way, because she wanted to be. It was not a situation where she was like some kind of addict or something, and she just laid out on the street and chose not to do anything. It was just circumstances. And then it gets into, I love this part, it gets into her mom. And you can just totally see why so many things went the way they went in her life just due to that upbringing. It was just kind of like you can, you had a bird's eye view of what it was like to be just poor, but to actually be a person who wants more in life. Not, a person who was striving to do better, but every time you try to do better, something comes and knocks you down and sets you back 20 steps. And this was such a big example. And this is, man, I hope this show really gets the recognition that it deserves. This girl definitely deserves an award for this series. It was just so touching. It does touch on women who are in situations that are not ideal, women who are with men who are not exactly doing the right things by them in every way possible. It touched on that. Women who need help, who need to get away from men who aren't good for them. It goes down all those different roads. It also showed, and another thing I liked about this was that it showed another side. It showed the side of like a broken man who also came up with parents who weren't fit. And it showed how that impacted from a male, how that, impacted him. And it showed it from like a male's point of view, and what it looks like for a man to be broken and struggling and also want to do better but can't because of his own demons and things that like held him back in his life. So it's just amazing. And I personally am a firm believer in your parents. That's your first point of, contact, your first point of learning how to kind of navigate through life. So I do firmly believe that when you have like unfit parents, and when you have parents that unfit, period, that definitely will impact your life and how you kind of move through life. And of course, people can do better and branch out and become something no matter where they come from. Of course, we've seen that, but it is a lot harder for people who don't have that foundation, as opposed to people who have a foundation with the parents and the support and all of that. So I love that they showed this, and I like that they showed it in a way that was realistic. I love that they didn't just show her as some strung out junkie, and then so therefore we had no, it just like, oh well, the reason why it's like that is because she won't stop doing the drugs. It wasn't like that at all. And I love that. Just the way they put this all together, it shows you that this is what people go through. And this is what a lot of Americans are going through, trying to survive, and it's mind boggling how hard it is for some people to just make just the basic necessities, how hard it is for them to get that. It showed that end of it too. It also showed like how hard it was for her to get even help from the government in her situation. It was like, okay, so for you to get help, you need to get a job. But in order for you to get a job, you need some money, you need a car. So you don't have any of those things, to even get to be able to get the assistance. And I know like at one point they were like, well, in order for you to get housing from the government, we need to show that you can pay your portion. So you need a job. But she couldn't get a job because she needed daycare. She couldn't afford daycare. And then with the government program, it was like another red tape that she had to go through where she didn't have that component. So I'm kind of like talking in circles because I don't want to give away the full, I don't want to give away like spoilers and things like that because I want you to enjoy the show. But it definitely showed how what people go through. And this is real life. People actually go through these things. And it showed that it's not just about someone being lazy. It's not just about someone not working hard or not doing what they're supposed to do. This is just real life. Someone who just is dealing with the what do they say, the hand they were dealt, and they were just dealt a poor hand, and just showing like what life looks like when you're not dealt a very good hand from the beginning, and what you have to do to climb yourself out and kind of make it. And you're going to have to work a million times harder than the average person when you're dealt that type of hand. So with all of that said, I just want to say this show really touched me. Listen, Margaret, Margaret Qualley, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Phenomenal job. Another person that did a phenomenal job was the lady who played her mom. Both of them, I mean, both of them deserve awards for this movie. Andie MacDowell, oh my gosh, the way she played that role as her mom, it was so realistic, you guys. Like, it wasn't even like they were acting. I'm telling you, it was like I was watching a documentary and somebody were just following these people around, and they just had this train wreck of a life, and it was just cameras there while they were just living their lives. That's what it seemed like. That's how realistic it was. It's amazing. Also, Anina Noni Rose is also in the movie, and I like her. Her character was amazing as well. I love how it all ended up with her character. And there's everyone, listen, everyone in this movie did a fantastic job, and it was just amazing to see. My heart was filled. I was so choked up during some parts of it. It's so hard to watch this without being choked up, let me tell you. There is a lot going on in this series. It was one that I can honestly tell you guys, I just watched it straight through. I watched it. I did not stop watching it. I watched it, every time I got a chance, I would just watch an episode, and I watched it until I was done, and there wasn't much time that I stopped. Every moment I got, I was watching it till late into the night. So it's that good. Like, I did not want to stop watching it. If I could have, I would have watched the whole thing in one day. That's just how good it is. So check it out, guys. Once again, it's called Maid, and it's on Netflix, and it's one of their limited series. Netflix is doing such a great job with these limited series. I really like them. But check this one out, and comment below, let me know what you think about it. Was it a good recommendation? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.